Yes, they go up and down, down. They are the daredevil wingwalkers of today, having heard the more frightening stories of the past. Well, now that we've only got a single here with us today, Dave will go through a series of
only a
different
single. I
routines.
normally have 2 or 3.
He will be doing loops and barrel rolls all the time. Keep your eyes on Kirsten. Now, she's a tough little lady because he'll put him through various turns, loops, rolls, and there he is now going into a stall turn, and she is strapped on the top there, putting up with winds up to 115 miles an hour. And later during the course of the air display, she will also unstrap and move around the top of the wing. It's quite extraordinary stuff. But she is in the hands of a very capable man. He sat in the rear cockpit, and that enables Kirsten, if she needs to come down and sit in the spare cockpit right behind her. Sit back and enjoy this. It's absolutely phenomenal stuff. So that wonderful roar you hear, that's coming from a 450 horsepower 9-cylinder Pratt Whitney engine, designed itself in the 30s, and you see as he comes around in that turn that Kirsten's actually lying on her side and stretching out. No mean feat as well to manoeuvre around these aircraft at the speeds that he's flying, but she's loving every minute of it. The grace, the skill, the style, in abundance here, and the aircraft newly painted and looking absolutely pristine. So they made a few other amendments on these aircraft, predominantly for carrying a wingwalker. Although they're tiny little things, the girls, they keep themselves gymnastically very strong and agile and physically fit to do this work, but it does create a lot of drag, as you can imagine. You put anything in the air, just like sticking your hand out of the car window when you're going along, and that's all affects the flying performance of anything. So that's why they put on a bigger engine. Normally you'd be flying something like a 270, 300 horsepower Continental type engine on these, but the 450 horsepower engine is absolutely superb and hugely reliable. And when he puts all the levers forward, the tips of the propellers virtually go supersonic, and that's when you get that wonderful, wonderful rasping noise coming off the near supersonic sounds of the propeller tips. Kirsten stretching out as she goes through a little bit of a Humpty Dumpty flying there, and of course when he's putting up in the air, he's putting what we call positive G, and then as he pushes it over the top, that's when the blood rushes to your head as opposed to go to your feet. That's negative G. You're going to hear lots about that during the course of this weekend's flying. So selection to be a wingwalker is not easy, just like training to be a pilot. It's all out of hard work, and of course it's really, really important. Kirsten herself has got quite a pedigree behind her as well, as you can imagine. They all have to have a particular bug to do this. She was certainly excited by the chance to get it. Her background happens to be in trapeze and aerial arts. And of course that's the sort of training that just helps you perfectly for this sort of work. And here she is now, the adrenaline junkie she is, actually positioned on the leading edge of the airframe. Look at that, give her a massive wave, boys and girls, mums and dads. Fantastic aerial achievement there. She is just pointing out to sea as, she's directing the aircraft herself. Beneath and behind her is Dave Farrell, himself a hugely accomplished pilot. He's got several thousand hours of flying on these aircraft now, and basically has been acting as the chief pilot for the organisation for some time. Favourite memories of Kirsten? I mentioned that this team has been all over the world. She was going upside down over the Gobi Desert, she said, at sunset, which is something that is very, very difficult to repeat. Dave grew up in the mechanical worlds, working in garages and things, then went into slider tug towing, other aerial work. And here now, I think Kirsten's in her other unique position of the arabesque, just perched on the top of the windscreen in another gymnastic movement, and absolutely stunning. Now she can see you down there, so do give her a wave. I mean it, she is looking at you, you are looking at her, and that sort of feedback is just what they love to have. I think we've got the arabesque where she's hanging on to the trailing edge there with 1 foot propped. Can you see that? Just 1 foot propped right in front of the pilot's head. And she is out of the harness. She's got one hand holding on to what was the harness itself, and you'll be glad to know she is, however, still wearing a safety strap just in case. Well, I reckon having shown you that, which is a fantastic manoeuvre, they'll probably come by for a final fly past now. She'll hop back in that cabin in the front end. Of course, the other reason they have to do that is if they're flying all the way back to their basic Renkum, that's about an hour, I guess about an hour and 15, 20 minutes from here. If the weather was anything like yesterday, then that would be pretty unpleasant flying along, standing on the top of an aircraft. So here they come now. This is, I'm pretty sure, the finale for Dave and Kirsten. Whatever you got, hats, coats, umbrellas, ice cream, smartest guys, boys and girls, you've been watching the Aero Supermatic Wingwalkers. Give them a massive, massive farewell wave from this magnificent day at Airborne 2022. And it looks a little bit slower going this way because that's where the wind's coming from. Of course, it just makes an aircraft look slower than it really is. But what a great piece that is, as I say, lots of extra additions, big thumping great engine on the front. It's got additional ailerons as well, that gives it more agility in the air. But job well done, and let's hope they get the second aircraft serviceable for tomorrow, and you get an even more scintillating display from the aerobatic Wingwalkers.